Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Devon Harges, a gifted actor with a quiet strength, left a lasting mark on audiences through his powerful performances and unwavering dedication to his craft. Born in Lubbock, Texas on July 29, 1983, Devon's early life was shaped by wide plains and a deep love for animals and the outdoors. That grounding stayed with him as he found his way from Texas theaters to the bright lights of New York City. After studying acting in college, Devon began his career on stage, performing in the Dallas-Fort Worth theater scene before moving to New York, where he embraced the world of independent film and off-Broadway productions. He earned acclaim for his role in The Forest is Red, winning Best Actor at the Tolentino International Film Festival. Devon's breakout moment came as the legendary boxer Jack Dempsey in HBO's Boardwalk Empire, where he starred alongside Steve Buscemi. He went on to deliver compelling performances in Daredevil, Gotham, Blue Bloods, and Manifest, where he portrayed Pete Baylor across 9 episodes. Off-screen, Devon was a devoted student of martial arts and found balance in physical discipline and a deep connection to nature. He often split his time between the Rocky Mountains, West Texas, and Hell's Kitchen in New York, carrying a quiet resilience wherever he went. In the winter of 2024, Devon was diagnosed with cancer. He passed peacefully on May 27, 2025, at Mount Sinai West Hospital in New York, due to complications related to the illness. Those who knew Devon remember a man of great conviction, humor, and kindness. His artistry, integrity, and gentle soul continue to inspire all who were fortunate to cross his path. James Lowe, the unmistakable voice behind the Electric Prunes, lived a life charged with creativity, curiosity, and an enduring love for sound. Born the eldest of 9 children in Southern California, James grew up near the surf and sand, captivated by the raw power of music. His early fascination with sound led to the birth of a band and an era defined by experimentation and sonic boldness. In 1966, Lowe and the Electric Prunes electrified the airwaves with "I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night," a fuzz-laced, psychedelic anthem that became a hallmark of a musical revolution. Their name, their sound, and their spirit became symbols of a decade unafraid to push boundaries. Lowe's engineering instincts and inventive ear helped shape a sound that was truly ahead of its time. When the original group disbanded in 1968, James didn't fade. He simply shifted. He produced records, including early work with Todd Rundgren and Sparks, and later built a successful second career in industrial filmmaking. Decades later, he reassembled the Prunes, reigniting the psychedelic spark for new generations. His love for music never dimmed, and neither did his gratitude for those who listened. James passed peacefully on May 22, 2025, surrounded by family and the sounds that defined his life. His children remember him not just as a rock pioneer, but as a loving husband to Pamela for 62 years, a father who built mountaintop dreams, and a dude who believed in endless possibility. He leaves behind more than a discography. He leaves a legacy of imagination, authenticity, and the enduring thrill of the unexpected. Breaking news. Paul McCartney is a name etched into the soul of modern music. He is not just a Beatle or a rock icon. He is a living thread that connects generations. His voice has comforted millions. His songs have become lullabies, anthems, and prayers for people across the world. Yet behind the applause and platinum records is a story far more human, a story of unimaginable pressure, public doubt, deep emotional turmoil, and a lifelong battle to stay not just relevant, but alive, well, and whole. At 82 years old, Paul McCartney is still walking onto stages, still writing songs, still carrying the weight of an era. But how did he survive it all? And more importantly, how is he still thriving? Born on June 18, 1942, in Liverpool, Paul McCartney grew up in a modest working-class home. His early life was marked by loss. When he was just 14 years old, his mother, Mary, died suddenly, a trauma that would never fully leave him. Decades later, it was her voice he claimed to hear in a dream, telling him gently to let it be. Music became his way of processing pain. In 1957, he met John Lennon. Together, they began crafting songs that would change the world. With George Harrison and Ringo Starr, they became the Beatles, a band that rose faster and higher than anything before or since. At their peak, the Beatles were not just a group, they were a phenomenon. The frenzy, the expectations, the isolation. It was staggering. And yet, through it all, McCartney was often the glue, the melodic center, the driving force behind some of the band's most iconic hits. But even legends fracture. In 1970, the Beatles split. What followed was not creative liberation, but personal collapse. Paul spiraled into a profound depression. Stripped of the band he had built his identity around, he questioned everything: his talent, his purpose, even his will to go on. The media turned on him. Critics dismissed his early solo work as lightweight, and his marriage to Linda McCartney, who joined him on stage in his next band Wings, was mocked. It seemed as though McCartney's golden touch had tarnished. Few saw the darkness he was living through. Fewer still expected what would happen next. Determined to rebuild, McCartney and Linda took to the road with Wings, often driving themselves in a van from venue to venue, playing to half-filled halls. It was a humbling start for a man who had sold out stadiums. But in that struggle, he found freedom. His creativity returned, his confidence rebuilt. In 1973, Wings released Band on the Run, recorded under chaotic circumstances in Lagos, Nigeria. Days before recording, 2 members of the band quit. Then, in Lagos, Paul and Linda were robbed at knife point, losing their song demos. In another twist of fate, Paul collapsed in the studio due to overwork. Still, he refused to stop. The album was a triumph. Band on the Run went on to become one of the biggest albums of the decade. And suddenly, Paul McCartney was not just the former Beatle, he was a solo star in his own right. But the struggle to maintain that identity and his health was far from over. McCartney's battles were not just artistic, they were deeply physical and emotional. After decades of performing, recording, and traveling, his body began to feel the toll. In the early 2000s, he underwent a heart procedure that brought him face to face with his own mortality. More recently, he has been increasingly open about his health routines, speaking about the importance of meditation, yoga, vegetarianism, and rest. He has practiced transcendental meditation since the late 1960s, not as a fad, but as a daily anchor for clarity and calm. His dietary choices have also played a critical role in preserving his energy. A longtime vegetarian, McCartney has used his platform to advocate for meat-free diets, both for health and environmental reasons. He credits this lifestyle with helping him maintain the stamina to perform 3-hour shows well into his 80s. Still, aging in the spotlight is no easy feat. McCartney has faced ageism, criticism, and the unique pressure of being one of the few people on Earth who is still asked to live up to a legacy as large as the Beatles. Every performance, every album, every appearance invites comparisons to a past that no one, not even him, can perfectly recreate. Yet somehow, he endures, not out of obligation, but out of love. In 2022, McCartney launched the Got Back Tour. Critics questioned if he could still command the stage. He answered with resounding performances across North America, the UK, and Latin America. He ended the tour in late 2024 with a sold-out show at London's O2 Arena, a powerful reminder that his story is not finished. Then, in February 2025, came another defining moment. McCartney performed during the Saturday Night Live 50th Anniversary Special. The song choice, Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, and The End was no accident. These were songs that closed out the final Beatles album, Abbey Road, and now they closed out another chapter in his own journey. The performance was emotional, raw, and intimate, a man confronting his past with grace and giving it back to the world as a gift. But even Paul McCartney is not immune to controversy. Earlier in 2025, he was caught by surprise when Kendrick Lamar released a track that used his voice through artificial intelligence, without prior approval. While some artists might have launched legal battles or harsh condemnations, McCartney responded with humor and curiosity. He acknowledged the strange future of music, but held firm to the values that had guided his career: integrity, originality, and heart. Alongside music, McCartney has also dedicated his life to causes bigger than himself. From animal rights to climate change, he has lent his voice and fame to campaigns for a more compassionate world. His Meat-Free Monday initiative, launched with his daughters Mary and Stella, continues to promote sustainability one meal at a time. Through 6 decades, McCartney has endured the highest highs and the lowest lows. He has been adored and dismissed, exalted and criticized, healthy and broken. But the common thread, through it all, has been resilience. Today, he continues to record new material, explore unreleased archives, and make surprise appearances. Rumors of future collaborations swirl, but even if he never steps on stage again, his legacy is sealed. Not just in gold records, but in the lives he has touched. Paul McCartney is not simply a survivor of fame, he is a student of it. He has faced loss, grief, creative droughts, critical backlash, physical limits, and spiritual weariness, and he has met each challenge not with bitterness, but with song. That is the true miracle. So what keeps him going at 82? Perhaps it is discipline, perhaps it is love, for family, for melody, for the audience who still sings along. Perhaps it is gratitude, the kind that grows only when one has known both applause and silence. Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. Paul McCartney's journey is not just a testament to talent, it is a masterclass in perseverance. What does his story mean to you? Which of his songs helped you through your hardest moments? Leave a comment below, and if this story moved you, consider subscribing for more tributes to the legends who continue to shape our lives, not just with their voices, but with their hearts. Rick Derringer, a name that echoed through generations of rock, brought uncontainable energy and sheer artistry to every stage he stepped on. He passed away at 77, leaving behind a legacy rich with music, resilience, and reinvention. Born Richard Dean Zeringer in 1947, Derringer's journey began as a teenager with the McCoys, rocketing to fame with the chart-topping Hang On Sloopy, a song that became Ohio's rock anthem and a staple at sports events across the state. His career flourished in the 1970s when he penned and performed Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, a classic that still electrifies airwaves and pop culture today. But Derringer's impact extended far beyond his solo hits. He produced the Edgar Winter Group's genre-defining Frankenstein, toured with legends like Johnny Winter, and added his unmistakable guitar licks to albums by Steely Dan, Barbra Streisand, Cyndi Lauper, and Bonnie Tyler. Equally at home in studio sessions or stadium tours, Derringer was a chameleon of sound. From the satire of Weird Al Yankovic, with whom he produced 6 early albums, to the iconic theme song Real American for wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan, his versatility knew no bounds. In recent months, he faced several health challenges, including complications following ankle bypass surgery. Through it all, he remained devoted to his music and faith, performing with his wife Jenda and releasing spiritual projects that showcased a quieter, reflective side of his artistry. Rick Derringer's story is one of relentless passion, fearless creativity, and a lifetime of guitar riffs that inspired countless artists. He may have left the stage, but his songs continue to echo, a true American original whose music lives on in every chord and chorus. Charles Strouse, one of the great architects of the American musical, has left behind a legacy as timeless and uplifting as the melodies he composed. At the age of 96, he passed peacefully at his home in Manhattan on May 15, 2025, following a life of extraordinary artistic achievement and lasting impact on generations of theatergoers. Born in 1928 in New York City, Strauss began his journey in music with classical ambitions, studying under giants like Aaron Copland and Nadia Boulanger. But fate had a different stage for him, Broadway. With his longtime lyricist partner Lee Adams, Strauss created songs that have become part of the American cultural fabric. From the sunny optimism of "Put on a Happy Face" in Bye Bye Birdie to the enduring hope of "Tomorrow" in Annie, his music has touched hearts across the world. Strauss's career was marked not only by success, but also resilience. While Annie and Applause brought him Tony Awards and widespread acclaim, other projects like Rags and Nick and Nora struggled despite the beauty of his scores. Yet Strauss never stopped composing, never lost his wonder for the art of music, and remained devoted to nurturing future talents through the ASCAP musical theater workshop he founded. Behind the accolades, 3 Tonys, a Grammy, an Emmy, and the hearts of countless fans, was a man who saw music as a way to lift spirits and bring joy. To make someone forget illness and suffering is also a calling, he once recalled being told. He lived by that belief every note of his career. Charles Strouse is survived by his 4 children and 8 grandchildren. Though he has taken his final bow, his songs continue to play on, in school musicals, on Broadway stages, and in the lives of those who, even for a moment, believed that tomorrow could be a better day. Denise Alexander, a beloved fixture in daytime television, passed peacefully on March 5, 2025, at the age of 85 due to natural causes. From her early days as a child actor in radio dramas to her iconic role as Dr. Leslie Weber on General Hospital, Denise's presence brought comfort and familiarity to generations of viewers. Born in New York City in 1939, Denise began performing at just 6 years old, lending her voice to over 2,500 radio shows. Her transition to television was seamless, with memorable roles in Days of Our Lives and Another World, but it was her portrayal of Dr. Leslie Weber, one of the first female doctors on daytime TV, that captured hearts and broke new ground. For nearly 5 decades, her character's resilience and compassion mirrored Denise's own enduring spirit. Denise's journey wasn't without challenges. In 1984, a contract dispute led to the sudden disappearance of Leslie from General Hospital, leaving fans in protest. Yet, just like her character, Denise returned, stronger and more beloved, continuing to grace the screen with warmth and wisdom until 2021. Her colleagues remember her as generous, grounded, and gracious. Executive producer Frank Valentini praised her for breaking barriers, while co-star Jeannie Francis simply said, "Thank you, Mama, for so much more than you know." Though she never had children of her own, Denise found family in her stepson and the countless fans who grew up watching her. Her legacy lives on not only in her roles, but in the memories she created. A steady light in the ever-changing world of television. Denise Alexander's grace, talent, and quiet strength will be remembered always. Kathleen Hughes, a radiant presence from Hollywood's golden era, passed away peacefully at the age of 96. Best remembered for her role in the 1953 science fiction classic It Came from Outer Space, Kathleen's image, hands raised, mouth open in a scream, became an enduring symbol of cinematic thrill and vintage charm. Born Elizabeth Margaret von Gherkin in Los Angeles, Kathleen's journey into film began when she signed with Fox in 1948. From her earliest appearances in light-hearted comedies to her unforgettable Scream Queen performance, Kathleen brought elegance and charisma to every role. Her breakout moment came when a simple still photo from It Came from Outer Space captured the imagination of a generation, featured on posters, greeting cards, and advertisements for decades to follow. Kathleen's career flourished at Universal International, where she starred alongside Rock Hudson in The Golden Blade and shared the screen again with director Jack Arnold in The Glass Web. Through the 1960s and 70s, she became a familiar face on television, appearing in shows like The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, Mission Impossible, MASH, and Barnaby Jones, always bringing depth and warmth to her roles. Behind the glamour, Kathleen embraced a rich personal life. She was married to producer Stanley Rubin for 59 years, a love story that reflected loyalty and quiet strength. Together, they raised a family and built a life away from the spotlight. Kathleen Hughes leaves behind a legacy of beauty, grace, and timeless screen presence. Her work continues to inspire film lovers and remains a cherished part of America's cinematic heritage. Will Hutchins, beloved star of the classic television western Sugarfoot, brought warmth, humor, and charm to the screen across a remarkable career that spanned decades. He passed away peacefully at the age of 94, with his wife Barbara sharing that respiratory complications were the cause. Born Marshall Lowell Hutcherson in Los Angeles in 1930, Will's journey to stardom began after serving in the U.S. Army Signal Corps during the Korean War and studying cinema at UCLA. It wasn't long before his affable spirit and comedic timing caught the eye of Warner Brothers, launching him into television fame as Tom Brewster, the gentle lawman of Sugarfoot. With his signature blend of sincerity and wit, Will made the character unforgettable, a law student carrying both a rifle and a volume of the law through the Wild West. Throughout his life, Will embraced every opportunity with curiosity and heart. He made memorable appearances in shows like 77 Sunset Strip, Gunsmoke, and The Alfred Hitchcock Hour, and starred in sitcoms like Hey Landlord and Blondie. He even teamed up with Elvis Presley for a lively musical number in Clambake. In later years, Will found joy performing as Patches the Clown in Australia's Ashton Family Circus, spreading smiles far beyond the stage or screen. His sense of humor never faded, and those who knew him recall a man who lit up every room with laughter and kindness. Will Hutchins leaves behind a legacy not just of classic television, but of a life lived with heart, humility, and the rare gift of making audiences feel at home. His performances remain a treasured part of American entertainment history. Taina Elg, the graceful Finnish-American actress and dancer whose poise lit up both silver screens and Broadway stages, passed away at 95 in her native Helsinki. Her family shared that she passed peacefully at an assisted care facility on May 15th. Elg's journey was a breathtaking blend of artistry and resilience. Born in 1930 to musical parents, she began dancing professionally with the Finnish National Ballet before earning scholarships to study across Sweden and the UK. Her talent caught the attention of MGM in London, where she was offered a 7-year contract that brought her to Hollywood. She enchanted audiences opposite Gene Kelly in Less Girls, 1957, a role that showcased her vibrant energy and earned her a Golden Globe alongside Kay Kendall. The following years saw her starring in films like Gabby and the 39 Steps remake, while her performances continued to reflect elegance and strength. When Hollywood's spotlight shifted, Taina turned to the stage, building a new chapter of success on Broadway. Her portrayal in Where's Charlie earned her a Tony nomination, and she became a cherished member of productions like Nine, Gigi, and Titanic. She also brought drama and flair to daytime television, most memorably on One Life to Live. Despite the challenges of shifting eras in entertainment, Taina Elg remained a symbol of timeless grace. In 2004, she was honored with the Order of the Lion of Finland, celebrating a life devoted to the arts and her cultural roots. Taina's legacy is one of elegance, adaptability, and an enduring connection to audiences. Her performances, both dramatic and joyous, continue to inspire and remind us of the beauty of a life lived through art. Brian Murphy, the beloved British actor whose comedic warmth lit up screens across generations, passed away peacefully at 92 in his Kent home, surrounded by family. Known to millions for his unforgettable portrayal of George Roper in Man About the House and its spin-off George and Mildred, Murphy's charm and humor made him a household name in British comedy. Born to entertain, Murphy began his journey with the influential theater workshop in the 1950s. His early stage work revealed a performer deeply committed to his craft, and it wasn't long before television audiences embraced him as a gifted comedic actor. With impeccable timing and a natural ability to connect with viewers, Murphy turned the quirky, lovable George Roper into an enduring television icon during the 1970s. Though the roles evolved over time, his passion for performing never wavered. From Last of the Summer Wine to The Catherine Tate Show and Holby City, Murphy remained a cherished presence on screen well into his later years. In fact, he had just completed a new comedy series and was preparing for a film role shortly before his passing. In his final weeks, Murphy faced a difficult health diagnosis, cancer affecting his spine and shoulders, but his passing was described as sudden. His agent remembered him as a sprinkler of joy and a profoundly kind soul, sentiments echoed by fans and colleagues alike. Murphy's wife, actress Linda Reagan, described him simply and beautifully, "My love for you will never die." Their nearly 30-year marriage was a testament to enduring love and partnership. Brian Murphy leaves behind not just a legacy of laughter, but also a reminder of the power of gentleness, humor, and heart in storytelling. His memory continues to warm the hearts of all who welcomed him into their homes. Dalene Young, a gifted storyteller whose words brought empathy, courage, and authenticity to the screen, passed away peacefully on May 9th in Portland, Oregon. She was 85 and had been living with complications from Alzheimer's disease, as shared by her husband of 53 years, director Robert Martin Carroll. A true pioneer of television storytelling, Dalene left a lasting legacy through her poignant writing in films like Little Darlings and Cross Creek. Whether portraying the raw vulnerability of adolescence or the quiet strength of literary legends, her work resonated with audiences seeking stories that were real, heartfelt, and human. Her adaptation of Cross Creek earned critical acclaim, helping spotlight strong female voices in cinema. Her television work was just as impactful. From Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage Runaway, to Jonathan, The Boy Nobody Wanted, Dalene used her platform to explore complex social themes with compassion. She earned a Daytime Emmy nomination and was recognized with a Christopher Award and Humanitas Prize nomination for her meaningful contributions. Dalene's journey began in Hawaii and took her from singing in New York clubs to the vibrant theater scene and ultimately to Hollywood. She never lost her passion for performance and continued acting on stage and screen, most recently in the 2021 film Pig alongside Nicolas Cage. Beyond the accolades, Dalene was known for mentoring young writers, nurturing talent with the same care she poured into her scripts. Her husband remembers her not only as an extraordinary writer, but as brilliant and bright, a woman whose warmth touched every project she graced. Dalene is survived by her husband Robert and their daughter Eden. Her stories, full of honesty and heart, continue to inspire generations of writers and viewers alike. Clem Burke, the dynamic and soul-stirring drummer of Blondie, passed away on April 7, 2025, at the age of 70, following a private battle with cancer. With unmatched energy behind the drum kit and an ear for innovation, Clem's rhythms defined the sound of a generation and helped launch Blondie into the stratosphere of rock history. Born Clement Anthony Bozowski in Bayonne, New Jersey, Clem's musical journey began early, mentored by his father, also a drummer. By his teens, he was making his way across the Hudson to New York's music scene. In 1974, he responded to an ad in the Village Voice, and soon after, Blondie was born. With his iconic mop of hair and boyish charisma, Clem brought raw energy and precision to tracks that would become cornerstones of American pop and punk. He was the heartbeat behind the hits, powering Heart of Glass, driving the explosive Call Me, and shaping the groundbreaking Rapture, the first #1 song to feature rap. His rapid-fire intro on Dreaming remains one of the most memorable openings in rock history. Beyond Blondie's peak years in the late 70s and early 80s, Clem became a sought-after session drummer, collaborating with legends like David Bowie, Bob Dylan, and Pete Townshend. Yet, it was with Blondie that he found his true home, rejoining the band in 1997 and remaining an essential force through their 2017 album, Pollinator. Clem's drumming was more than music, it was storytelling. Each beat told of his deep love for rock and roll's roots and his fearless drive to push its boundaries. Blondie once said, "Clem was not just a drummer, he was the heartbeat of Blondie." And indeed, his rhythm lives on in every song that made us dance, dream, and feel alive. His legacy is forever etched in sound. Gale, a spirited talent with a heart as big as his legacy, brought joy and thrill to generations of moviegoers with unforgettable roles in films like Howard the Duck and Child's Play. Born in 1963 in Plainwell, Michigan, Ed stood just 3 feet 4 inches tall, but his presence on screen was anything but small. With $41 and a dream, he journeyed to California at age 20, determined to make his mark. And he did, with charm, courage, and humor that transcended every frame. Best known for physically bringing to life the chilling doll Chucky in the original Child's Play films and the wise-cracking duck from another world, Howard, Ed became a cult favorite. Over a career spanning more than 130 roles in television, film, and commercials, he proved that limitations are only stepping stones to greatness. His performances, always full of character and heart, captivated audiences and carved a unique place in the history of pop culture. Behind the scenes, Ed faced health challenges with the same tenacity he brought to his roles. In his final days, he experienced difficulty breathing and was preparing to enter hospice care when he peacefully departed in Los Angeles on May 28, 2025, surrounded by love and the comfort of dear friends. To his family and fans, Ed wasn't just an actor. He was a storyteller, a bright spark, and above all, the fun uncle, who never stopped sharing the magic of movies. His legacy lives on in the characters he embodied, the laughter he sparked, and the inspiration he leaves behind for every dreamer who dares to be different. Bruce Logan, a visionary of visual storytelling, inspired awe through light, lens, and imagination. From the vastness of space in 2001, A Space Odyssey, to the climactic destruction of the Death Star in Star Wars, his fingerprints are on some of cinema's most iconic moments. Bruce passed away on April 10, 2025, in Los Angeles at the age of 78 after a short illness. Born in England in 1946, Bruce began animating at the age of 12, crafting scenes with toy soldiers and a camera. That early passion led him to Stanley Kubrick, who handpicked Bruce to join the special effects team for 2001. There, he worked under Douglas Trumbull, learning the artistry of blending precision with boundless imagination. It was the beginning of a 5-decade journey that reshaped how we see the impossible on screen. In Star Wars, Bruce's low-tech ingenuity brought the Death Star's explosion to life, capturing the grandeur of space with little more than miniature pyrotechnics and daring camera work. Later, as the cinematographer for Disney's Tron, he helped pioneer the integration of computer-generated imagery into live action, a bold vision ahead of its time. Though he never attended formal film school, Bruce credited his father, a BBC director, for teaching him that every frame should be a perfect picture. That lesson echoed in every project he touched, from blockbusters to cult classics like Airplane. Bruce's work, often unsung but always unforgettable, continues to shape the art of filmmaking. He leaves behind a legacy of innovation, creativity, and heartfelt devotion to his craft. A reminder that magic on screen begins with a dreamer behind the camera. Breaking news. Tim Curry at 78. From the brink to brilliance. The unshakable flame of a true performer. The spotlight can be a ruthless thing. It lifts you, but it also exposes you, your triumphs, your flaws, your falls. For Tim Curry, that spotlight was not just a career, it was a lifeline. And even when the curtain almost fell for good, he found a way to stand in its glow once more. In 2012, everything changed. The actor who once strutted across stages and haunted television screens with his chilling charisma suffered a major stroke. His speech, his movement, his very instruments of performance were compromised. Many feared the worst, but they underestimated the heart of a man who had long made a career of defying expectations. He did not vanish. Instead, Tim Curry pivoted. He found solace and strength in voice acting. His distinctive baritone, equal parts velvet and menace, remained intact. Through animated series, video games, and audio dramas, he proved that a voice can still conquer a stage, even when the body falters. Fans began to see him at conventions, in a wheelchair, smiling, signing autographs, radiating warmth. They were not just there to revisit their favorite roles. They came to pay tribute to his strength. The man who once played a transgressive alien, a demonic overlord, a psychotic clown, was now something even more powerful: a survivor. But let us rewind. Born in Grappenhall, Cheshire, England, on April 19, 1946, Curry's life was shaped by early exposure to music and theater. He studied drama and English at the University of Birmingham, where his theatrical instincts sharpened. His voice, resonant and versatile, was not just a gift, it was his compass. In 1975, Curry exploded into pop culture with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. As Dr. Frank N. Furter, he was electrifying. The role was strange, subversive, and ahead of its time. Initially misunderstood, the film became a midnight staple, and Curry's performance grew into one of the most iconic cult portrayals in cinema. He had not just played a character, he had shaped a movement. The 1980s revealed Curry's astounding range. In Clue, 1985, he turned Wadsworth the butler into a whirlwind of charm and chaos. That same year, he embodied evil as the Lord of Darkness in Legend, vanishing beneath horns and prosthetics, yet remaining undeniably present. Then, in 1990, he became the Thing of Nightmares, Pennywise the Clown in the television adaptation of Stephen King's It. His performance left an imprint on a generation. Without heavy effects or CGI, he created horror with a twitch of the eye, a whisper, a smirk. Curry thrived on transformation. From melodrama to slapstick, musical to horror, he became whatever the story needed, never losing his spark, never phoning it in. In Home Alone 2, The Three Musketeers, and animated series like The Wild Thornberrys, he stole scenes with ease. Nigel Thornberry, his nature-obsessed character, became an unlikely icon to a new generation of fans. But Curry was not just a chameleon. He was a craftsman. Each role carried nuance. Even his villains had depth. Even his heroes had an edge. That complexity made him beloved, not only by audiences, but by fellow actors, directors, and writers who saw in him a rare blend of discipline and daring. Then came the silence. The stroke in 2012 was a devastating moment. It forced him away from live performance, upended his plans, and narrowed his world. But even in this, he adapted. He recorded lines from home. He embraced what he could still do. He showed us all that even when the lights dim, the artist within does not go dark. And in 2024, something miraculous happened. Tim Curry returned to the big screen in Stream, a psychological horror film set against the eerie backdrop of digital surveillance. The role was mysterious, restrained, but unmistakably Curry. For longtime fans, it was more than a performance. It was a moment of affirmation. He was still here, still working, still daring to create. Co-stars praised his quiet confidence, his timing, his grace under pressure. Audiences responded with emotion. Here was the man who had once been a monster, a magician, a madman, reminding us that the greatest stories are not the ones we watch on screen, but the ones we witness in real life. To mark this chapter, Curry is releasing a memoir in October 2025. Titled Vagabond, the book promises to trace his remarkable journey, from childhood through the highs of stardom to the valleys of illness and rebirth. It is not just a celebrity memoir. It is a portrait of courage, humor, humility, and grit. Of course, Curry's accolades are many: Golden Globe and Emmy nominations, Saturn Awards, theater triumphs. But his true legacy lives elsewhere. It lives in the cult status of Rocky Horror, in the frozen fear evoked by It, in the laughter sparked by Clue, in the countless fan letters, in the parents introducing their children to his films, in the artists he inspired to embrace the unconventional. Because what Curry gave us was not just entertainment. He gave us permission to be strange, to be dramatic, to be unafraid. He taught us that art should be fearless, and that performance, at its best, is an act of love. And even now, as he navigates life with a different set of tools, that love endures. He may sit instead of stand. He may speak with more care. But the fire in his eyes, it is still there. The wit, the mischief, the magic, they remain untouched. What is your favorite Tim Curry role? The gender-bending allure of Frankenfurter? The gleeful menace of Pennywise? The unexpected charm of Nigel Thornberry? Whichever it is, it left a mark. And it is a mark that time will not erase. Tim Curry reminds us that legacy is not about the roles we play. It is about the impact we leave behind. And few have left one as rich, as strange, as beautiful as his. Let us celebrate that legacy. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let us keep his flame alive. Because some actors perform, some actors endure. But Tim Curry transforms, and transformation is forever.